I'm DeMilto, and my online business is called The Mighty Marketer, which helps freelancers get the clients that they deserve, mostly through online courses, and it's all related to marketing. And I've also written 2 books on marketing for freelancers. I was looking for the next steps to my books because I knew going in that, you rarely make a lot of money on books, but I did put a lot of time and effort into trying to promote my books. I had developed a website, and I knew that there had to be something more that I could do with it. I went to a conference, and one of the things that they were talking about there for freelancers to take a next step is online courses. And that kind of seemed like a good fit for me. I went home, I started working on one on my own based on some presentations I had done on marketing with a workbook. And it was just incredibly different what I had tried to do on my own from what I learned in Course Builder's laboratory, and far inferior. It's an expensive course, but I've always known from my freelance business and from this business too, that you are running a business and business requires investment. So I knew that it was going to be a good investment in my business. I thought that I knew my target market well because I had been doing this for years, doing presentations and writing articles on marketing for freelancers, and I knew a lot of other freelancers. But what I learned from the course was that I needed to really do in-depth research, particularly the qualitative research. And I had kind of shied away from that in the past because I was always worried about taking too much of people's times with qualitative survey questions and that kind of thing. But the qualitative information that I got was just absolutely invaluable. It helped me, and this was also in Course Builders. The course talks about using the language of your target market and really understanding their needs. So instead of what I thought they needed, I was able to target things more to what they really needed. And for me, more importantly, to understand how they think about this, because marketing is really easy for me and I love it. And I know many freelancers just absolutely hate it or don't know what to do, or some combination. So knowing how they actually felt was really, really helpful for me. One of the biggest things for me was the need for a pilot. That's something that I had just never thought of on my own, and doing it was absolutely invaluable to me. I ended up doing 2 pilots because I had such a good response to the first pilot. And the pilots, they gave me confidence that I was developing a product that the market, my target market, really wanted and needed. And it also convinced me to offer a coaching version of my course because the pilot, you're supposed to give people coaching, and that's, you're giving them something extra because the course isn't fully developed. And also that's one of the main ways that you get feedback from them about the course. And originally I had only planned to offer self-study because I didn't think that I would be, frankly, patient enough to be coaching people. And I thought the self-study would just be easier. But the students thought that the coaching was the most valuable part of the course. And I found out that I did like doing it because most of them really did want to work and do better. They just needed some help. So now I offer 2 versions of the course, self-study and coaching. I had 2 challenges. One was finding time to do this while I was running my full-time freelance business. And the second was dealing with all of the new technology. And finding the time was actually easier for me because I'm not very good with technology. And I just made a commitment to myself that I was going to spend 2016 working on this and doing whatever it took. And I ended up working 60 to 65 hours a week all year, which, I was pretty burned out at the end, but I got it done. So I do know this topic really, really well. I have been doing presentations, I'd written the book, so I had a lot of very relevant background, and I started in a really good place. The main thing that Course Builders taught me was to really narrow this down to the essentials, to what people really needed to know and to do. Because before that, I had been broader in some of my presentations and things like that. And I ended up taking out some of the subtopics that were too advanced for most freelancers, including one part of the pilot that most of them didn't do because they just weren't ready for that. For the pilot, and I think this was a fantastic part of Course Builders, it says to deliver the pilot in the easiest way possible. Don't worry about, getting things perfect. So I used PowerPoint slides with audio. And that was a little clunky, but it worked for the pilot instead of video like Course Builders has. And then I gave students a transcript, which I thought it's really helpful. I know I always like to have, something in writing that I can look at quickly instead of watching a whole video. And then exercises and also handouts. It was actually scary. I was very glad that I was getting such a good response, because to market the pilot, I only used my small Mighty Marketer list. So to have so many people interested in it, helped give me confidence. But it was scary because, I'm doing something I never did before. I had 14 people in my first pilot and 11 in the second. And I did charge less than Course Builders suggested, but I still made back the cost of the course with some profit. I charged $99 per student, and I made $2,376. But the money for me was not important, because I just wanted to develop the course, get practice teaching it, and give people a good experience. Well, my full course, again, I'm early into my list building because I had to focus on building the course itself and getting all of that up there. So I'm limiting the course because you're supposed to do that. Plus the coaching, I have to limit it to 15 coaching students and 20 self-study students. For the first time I offered the course, I got 4 of each type of students. And I'm fine with that. Now I charge for the coaching course $697 and the self-study $297. The Course Builders Laboratory is a lot of work, and you must be committed to doing this. As Danny often says in the course, if you don't do the work, you won't see the results. But if you're ready to do the work, Course Builders Laboratory will teach you everything you need to know to be successful in online courses. And I highly recommend it to anybody that really wants to do this. Taking Course Builders Laboratory has accelerated the success of my online courses, and it would have taken me much more time and much more effort to get to where I am today. And maybe I never even would have gotten there if I hadn't taken the course. It's a lot of work, but it's just a fascinating new world with lots of opportunity.